Welcome friends to another 40k video. Today we draw on The Wolf of Ash and Fire by Graham Mcneil, where the Emperor and Horus fight side by side during the Great Crusade, oh yes, against the Orks, and we witness the Emperor unleashing his might. Spoilers for that book, let's get straight into it. The fight takes place above and on the scrap world of Goro. The Lunar Wolves fight under Horus, and at a key moment, the Emperor arrives aboard the Imperator Somnium and they gut the Ork fleet in orbit in short order. The Emperor, with the Legio Custodes, come aboard. Horus watches his forces fight down on Goro and wishes he was with them. Horus is disappointed by this, and the Emperor says, "They were always intending to go down. I believe you call it a spear tip," he says, and they teleport down into the Ork horde. The world, as the book describes it, is the scrap world, stank of hot iron and flames, of oil and sweat and waste matter left to rot. Thousands of greenskins roared with approval as several hundred warriors appeared from the teleport. The custodians moved first, at the Emperor's command, firing with their spears. Then the Emperor struck. He moved without movement, simply existing, one place, then another, and each time another greenskin life was reaped. The blows he gave were not normal. They struck the impact of artillery, bodies scattered at his sword's touch, as though hurled by a bomb, and his gauntlet blazed with white fire. Whatever threat it touched exploded into red cinders and ash, and he repelled the Orcs' gunfire with his mind, turning any rounds near him into smoke. In a way, this only seemed to encourage the Orcs, as if he was a challenge. They attacked him in their hundreds. Horus also fights. He killed one with his bolter and followed his father. As he did, he took an Orc leg and crushed the towering Orc skull with his boot as it fell to the ground, and he relished this fight with the greenskins, who he killed with pure economy, until he was coated in their viscera. The custodians and the Lunar Wolves with him also continued to cut through the Orks. An Orc swung a huge mace to finish off Abaddon, but a sword that shimmered blocked the blow. The Emperor rolled his wrist and cut through the wire, and the mace head fell. Then he turned the blade, made a figure of 8, and the towering Orc fell apart in 4 segments. Then the ground breaks, and Horus sees that the gravity's fields keeping Goro together, remember it's a junk world, are spinning out of control. The scrap world is tearing itself apart. The ground cracked and ripped open. Orcs fell into the world's depths. Horus tried to reach the Emperor, who was surrounded by the greenskin marauders. The Master of Mankind saw his son for a moment. Then a quake hit, and the Emperor was swallowed up. Seeing this, Horus fell after him. Inside the structure of the world, the space below him opened up, and his descent increased. Past caves and feeding pits, Horus lived through the impacts he received, and in the end, in a cavernous space, he landed, bending his knees and creating a crater, very much a superhero landing. He found himself in a large circular chamber, where always changing gravity forces were at play. This was controlled by brass orbs on its inner surface, which lightning leapt between. And in the middle was a colossal vortex of energy, about 1,000 meters wide, and energy left it to strike at Goro's structure, slowly breaking it apart. Horus was drawn to a golden light and saw the Emperor fighting many enormous Orcs. He could not win alone, but he was not alone. As Horus fought, his sword became broken and his twin bolters emptied. But for this sacrifice, he had fought along a stepped bridge and had made it to a crumbling ledge below the Emperor. He was so close now. He had also lost his helmet to a green-skinned giant, but had broken its back over his knee and hurled it from the bridge on which they had fought. The Emperor faced an Orc twice his size. Mech arms were attached through its flesh. The Emperor's armour was burning. Cannons also battered it. Claws of lightning tore part of it away. The Emperor used all his physical and mental might to stay alive. Horus shouts, "Father!" This gets the Greenskin's attention. It laughed. A fist smashed the Master of Mankind's sword aside and lifted him into the air. the fist so large it crushed the life from him. Horus reached his father's side. Spinal weapons began to strike out at Horus, but he dodges them. With no weapons, he grabs the arm with the lightning weapon and bends it back towards the mech. The weapon burned one of his hands black, but he moved it inch by inch until it fired on its owner's forearm and caused the limb to explode. This caused it to drop the Emperor, who quickly ripped open its belly and cut up, saying, "Now you die." Electric fire came from the Ork's organs as it was split open. Then, with that done, the Emperor of Mankind was still not done. Horus felt his father's power building. It was all-consuming, all-powerful. Anybody facing this would be turned to ash. The soul of their life would be extinguished. Only their memory would remain in other people's minds. It came through the Master of Mankind's sword and filled the greenskin with its killing light, where it erupted with a golden explosion from within. And then the energy hunted, going from orc to orc, the energy pouring from the Emperor, reaching all who opposed him in the chamber and burning every shred of them to ash. He looked like a god, though Horus knew he refuted such ideas. And then Horus saw his father, turned to the cold fire of Goro's core, and raised his hands, sword sheathed, and the same light ripped from his fingertips. For if the star exploded, it would kill them all. The Emperor, with fists clenched and held in the air, folded the space around the plasma, and where it did, Horus saw, as the book paints it, great abysses of crawling chaos and unlimited potential, howling voids where the combined lives of this galaxy were but motes reflected in the cosmic dust storm, an Imperium realm of the Neverborn, where nightmares were birthed in the fetid womb of mortal lust. Horus looks and is both repulsed and fascinated. But this effort was draining the Emperor, whose golden light waned with every passing moment. And then it was done. Air rushed to fill the void. Horus asks his father what he did. The Emperor says he moved the plasma core into the warp, but he warns it will not hold for long, and soon the warp fold will explode and take everything with it. And so they retreated, and they watched the end of the planet from the bridge of Horus's ship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor says despite this blow, the Greenskins are a cancer and must be eradicated wholesale to stop them. "I am your sword," said Horus. "Show me where to strike." And that is where we end things. I hope you enjoyed that video. I very much enjoyed recording it. And now I turn this over to you. What do you think to this tale? It's a new one for me and a lot of fun to read. Share your thoughts down below.